Welcome everyone to my F1 2021 Breaking Point Story Mode, part 1 of this 8-part series that I'll be doing on this channel. I know I haven't been uploading in a while, but with the new game being out, I should be able to upload a bit more consistently. Expect a video at least once a week from now on. Now jumping right into it, we're going to go straight to hard mode. I did hear the AI is set at around 95 to 90. So it should be right where my skill level is at. I use this AI difficulty for my F1 2020 My Team Career mode, so this is the perfect AI level for me. Now time to select our team for this story mode. We have 5 choices for teams. We have AlphaTauri, Aston Martin, Alfa Romeo, Haas, and Williams Racing. For this one, I wanted to choose either Aston Martin or, since the season really begins in 2020, Racing Point, because I heard that it would make it more realistic either between AlphaTauri or Aston Martin, so why not go with the new team and choose Aston Martin for this one. And it's a bit more exciting. It's a new team, so it's definitely makes it a bit more interesting. So here we are, about to start our Breaking Point story mode. It's going to be a bit fun one, this one, and let's jump right into it. Here we are at the prologue at the Abu Dhabi GP for the final race of the F2 2019 season, with the 2019 Formula 2 Championship coming down to the final race of the season. Young British driver Aiden Jackson is looking to etch his name into the history books. This is going to be a fun one, this one, starting in F2 of course, then the F1 season starting in 2020, then moving on to F1 2021. So let's jump right into the prologue.
An incredible race! Look at it! Every driver is being so aggressive! Check it out!
They'll all be feeling the pressure right now. None more so than young Aiden Jackson from Carlin.
That's right. Rumors from the paddock talk about a possible future for Jackson in Formula 1. And with only a few laps to go, this is still anyone's race.
The atmosphere here is electric, and we couldn't have asked for a better finish to the F2 season here in Abu Dhabi. Okay, Aiden, you're doing great. Keep focused. You know what to do. Copy that.
Here we are then, with only 3 laps to go, in 4th position, with the objective is to finish in 1st place to win the F2 championship for Aiden Jackson, catching up to Seti Camara, Latifi, and Luca Ghiotto right ahead of him. As we dive down the inside of Seti Camara, it's a bit rough, but just be able to get the overtake done and down into the hairpin, right behind Javier Raganathan, the legend himself, with appropriately him being a back marker in last place. So we have a 3-second gap to Latifi up ahead, and then a 4-second gap to Ghiotto with the purple first sector as we go a little bit defensive on Seti Camara. That makes us go wide on the corner, and it gives Seti Camara the perfect chance to come back. We get a bit of a better exit then, but he's going to have DRS down the second DRS straight. It's going to be a drag race down to the next chicane. We go defensive on Seti Camara, and we brake a bit later than him as we just be able to defend the corner with a lot of oversteer on the chicane as we're just drifting throughout the corners. And Seti Camara is still right behind us as we go wide on the left-hander. Seti Camara is still just right there, nose to gearbox, and we have to just be able to keep ahead of him and catch up to Latifi, which is now a 3-second gap, 3.3 seconds to Latifi, with a complete 5-second gap to Ghiotto. This is going to be a tough one, as again we're just drifting throughout these corners, trying to stay ahead of Seti Camara with still blue flags as Raganathan is ironically be able to catch up with us. As Seti Camara goes a bit down the inside, throws us off, makes us go wide as we get distracted by him going down our inside. So we go a bit defensive, squeeze him against the wall, and we damage our front wing against the wall. and at this point I kind of just gave up. No point in catching up to Latifi or Giotto, so kind of just wanted to take him out at that point. And at this point I realized that I will have to restart my session and restart this whole thing all over again. So here we are again, catching up to Giotto this time on lap 6. We already passed Latifi and Sete Camara, so we're setting green sectors, still catching up to Giotto. On 2-second gap with this, but we get too much oversteer on the turn, and we completely break our front wing. And this is the moment I realized that I'm not really a good F2 driver, and probably be better in F1. And I don't think I'm doing Jackson any favors with this performance. So here we are again on DRS straight. This time we have DRS, catching up to Giotto, again lap 6 in P2. This is going to be for the win. He goes a little bit defensive. We try to go down the inside, but he kind of moves across a bit from us, making him lock up. There's this magical line on the pavement. I have no idea where that came from. The bid came out of nowhere. I don't know where that came from. It really makes no sense. But we have DRS down to second DRS straight. Again, catching Giotto. This is the last and final lap for P1 and the win for the F2 Drivers Championship. Right on the back of Giotto, trying to stay with him, trying to find the opportunity to overtake him, maybe down the inside or around the outside, whichever one works. As again we're on the back of him, he is a bit slow through this corner as we're gonna bang tires so close to the wall with that emergency exit right there, and we're just able to overtake him. But can we keep it as we round the final section? Just going through these final corners with 2 corners to go, we are starting to pull a gap to Giotto. And are we going to be able to do it? Are we going to be able to win the F2 championship for Aiden Jackson, rounding the final corner? Going to be able to win the F2 championship.
Fantastic work, Aiden. Great drive, mate. Congratulations. Yes! Come on! And he's done it! Jackson's done it! Aiden Jackson wins the F2 championship!
What a win for Jackson! What a win!
And it couldn't have gone to a better driver. A magnificent result. He's already been vocal about his dreams of one day driving for Mercedes in Formula One. Let's just hope the right people are watching today. And here he is, the man of the moment, Aiden Jackson.
An amazing race and a fantastic win for this incredible driver.
Indeed. After this, I guarantee that Jackson will be the hot topic in more than a few upcoming F1 team meetings. The future's definitely bright for this young driver.
Here we are then at the start of Chapter 1 at the Australian Grand Prix several months later. Having won the Formula 2 Drivers' Championship, Aiden Jackson has now secured a seat in Formula 1 and is preparing to take his first steps into the world's most prestigious motorsport series. So here we are in the F1 2020 season, not yet in the F1 2021. We signed or chose Aston Martin, so we are going to be starting in the Racing Point car. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens. Can't wait to see what happens at the Australian Grand Prix in the 2020 F1 season.
Aiden, now you've made the leap to Formula 1, no surprise to anyone who's been watching your career. How does it feel to be on the verge of getting behind the wheel for your first race?
To be honest with you, Will, it hasn't really quite sunk in yet. The team has given me a fantastic opportunity. It's a once in a lifetime, a dream come true. So, to answer your question, I feel like a little kid. I look around and I'm surrounded by my heroes, you know? I've even had to pinch myself a couple of times. So, yeah, it can be a bit overwhelming. But out on the track, the speed, the noise, even the smell, it's all the same. I just hope my driving is too.
And what about Casper Ackerman? Are you intimidated at all having such a seasoned and experienced driver as your first teammate in Formula 1? How's that relationship coming along?
I've always looked up to Casper as someone to aspire to. Growing up as a kid, his pictures all over my bedroom walls, you know? The dream was always to be Casper. But, as it turns out, I'll be racing alongside Casper, which is good enough for me. I get to learn from the best. Besides, every legend has to start somewhere, right?
Aiden, just wondering if we can get your reaction to the obvious comparisons that are being made between you and another F1 driver. Much like you, he made the transition from F2 to F1 last season. What do you say to the press here? And to your fans, who are calling you the new Devon Butler?
The new Devon Butler. I'm alright with that. Does that mean we could lose the old one?
You come over well. They like you. I don't know what you were worried about.
Thanks.
You know, everything's going to be fine out there today. I just know it. Just do what you did in F2. Easy.
Thanks, Brian. I won't let you down. Come on, Aiden. You've got this.
Here we are then inside our motorhome, looking around the garage, the news right there on the television, and just from that press conference, I think it's going to be a great season. Aiden Jackson already throwing shade towards Devon Butler with that little joke. So I'm going to tell it's going to be a pretty fun season. As we have a call now from Brian, let's hear what he has to say.
Hello?
Aiden, are you in your room?
Oh, hey Brian. Yeah, I'm in my room.
Good. Well, have a look around. I hope you like it. Should be everything you need in there. News feeds, social media. It's hooked up to the lot. Just do me a favour, eh?
Go on.
Make sure you check your emails. I think there's a message in there for you.
Oh, right. Thanks, Brian.
Take a breather, do what you need to do, and I'll see you before the race.
Nice one.
I can already tell Brian's going to be a pretty good character in the story mode. As we look around Aiden Jackson's social media profile, as we now get another call from Aiden Jackson's mom.
Hello?
Hello, love. How's it going?
Alright, Ma. Yeah, it's going alright. Just getting ready.
I saw your interview.
And?
You need a haircut.
Alright. Well, thanks, I guess.
But aside from that, you were great. I'm so proud of you, Aiden.
I know, Ma. Thanks.
I wish I could be out there with you. This is everything you've worked towards.
Yeah, I know, but you'll be at the next one.
Just do what you do, and everything will be great.
Thanks, Ma.
And remember, mirror signal maneuver. And always stick to the speed limit.
Great advice. I'm all over it.
I know you are, love. I'll speak to you later. Good luck.
Bye.
I mean, it is somewhat good advice. You kind of want to stay to the speed limit in the pit lane. So it's not all bad advice, but still. Here we are now at the emails. An email from our team principal, just kind of saying the title says it all. We're here, we're just kind of welcoming us to the team. And another email from Jeff. Good to see Jeff still in the story mode, still from just all throughout the F1 games. He's still a good character in this story mode. And just kind of looking around the area, looking at Aiden Jackson's desk, just kind of the cozy motorhome that just travels around the world. And a bit interesting all the detail they put into just the story mode itself. And also we have a email from Casper Ackerman saying good luck. Aiden, I noticed that you left your paperwork over in the garage, so just kind of helping us with that. And just it's already a good relationship between them both. Just a good teammate. Maybe who knows what happens in the future, but I think this is a good start of a good relationship between both Aiden and Casper, and just hoping that no fireworks pops off like Fernando Alonso and Lewis Hamilton when they came together, or also Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton, kind of both of his teammates. So here we are then collecting our awards for the podium pass, and let's move on to the race in Chapter 1 of the Australian Grand Prix mid-race. With the world watching and expectations high at Racing Point, F1 rookie Aiden Jackson appears to be holding his own in his maiden race here in Melbourne. With the possibility of a points finish, he keeps focused on the race in front of him. And it's going to be an exciting one here, the first ever race of our F1 story mode, or F1 just career in general. Let's hope we go out there and score some points for Racing Point.
A solid start, Aiden. Let's try and push it further.
Copy that. Where's Casper?
He's up ahead. Let's try and bring you two closer together.
Here we are then, lap 6 of the Australian Grand Prix, with our objective being to catch up to Ackerman before lap 11. With the 15 lap race, this is on 15% race distance, and we are in P14. So we have a few people to overtake. Ackerman is in P10, so far we're getting 1 point. But with Ricardo right up the road, it's going to be pretty interesting. Ackerman is about 7 seconds ahead, about 6.5 now, slowly catching up to him. But we have about 5 more laps in order to catch up to him, as Lewis Hamilton sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, and then Bottas sets the fastest lap. As we go through the high-speed chicane, we go a bit wide on the curb. Back at it again lap 6. Lewis Hamilton again sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Then Bottas right after him sets the fastest lap as we go through the high-speed chicane, again going wide on the curb. And at this moment I realized that I had no more flashbacks, and once again I'll have to restart the session for the second time in this episode, that I might be a really bad driver, and that I'll have to start all over again.
A solid start, Aiden. Let's try and push it further.
Copy that. Where's Casper?
He's up ahead. Let's try and bring you two closer together.
So once again, here we are, restarting the session after was a pretty horrible crash 2 times, and just jumping right into it. At the end of lap 6 onto lap 7, we're catching up to Ricardo, setting a purple first sector, green second sector. We don't quite set the fastest lap, but we're going to dive down the inside of Ricardo. He kind of tries to stay around the outside, but we kind of squeeze him out and stay in that position. Now time to focus on Russell, who's on the hard compounded tire. We should be a lot faster than him, as he's right up ahead, about 1 second. We're not quite in DRS yet, but now onto the high-speed chicane, still on lap 7. We don't spin this time around, as we're on the back of Russell with DRS. We're gonna try to overtake him. We overtake him right before the corner. That's how you want to do it, just using enough speed to get through the corner and safely overtake him without trying to do any outside maneuver, and we were able to take the racing line. Now on to Devin Butler, kind of our rival after what we said to him at the press conference, so it might get a little bit heated, but we don't have yet DRS. They are right there on the back of him. We still don't have DRS down this second main straight. It confused me a bit. We're within 1 second, but okay. So we're gonna dive down the inside of Butler. He gives us the room to be fair, and we're able to overtake him. And now to move on to Ackerman, we might catch him a bit earlier. The objective is to catch him before lap 11, but on lap 9 we do catch him and be able to complete our first objective.
What a brilliant Australian Grand Prix this has been, but there's still plenty of time for more drama.
There certainly is, Crofty, and these two have been fighting each other incredibly hard so far. They don't want to go tripping over each other though, because Devin Butler is coming up from behind. He's on the attack too.
Aiden, Casper's not your priority. We need you to defend.
It's okay. I've got this.
Here comes Butler. 3 abreast going into turn 11. Oh, this can't work! And it doesn't! Ackerman's off onto the verge of what looks like damage as well.
Is he okay? Is Casper okay?
He'll be fine, he's heading for the pits now. You just concentrate on the race.
And there we have it. So I'm sure there's going to be fireworks in the Racing Point garage this evening.
There will be, Crofty, for sure. Look, it was a late move from Devon Butler, but you never want to see two teammates make contact, and Ackerman will surely be seething at that one.
Absolutely. And I tell you who else isn't going to be happy too. Aidan Jackson. Not how his F1 race debut should have gone.
Damage appears to be minor. How's it feeling, Aiden?
Yeah, car's okay.
Understood. See how well you can do out there.
Copy.
So on to lap 10. Now our objective is to just finish the race, and I kind of spoke too soon in the motorhome saying I hope there's no fireworks. In this case, as Crofty said, there will be fireworks this time after the race. But as we go on to lap 13, we just gotta get our head down and focus on catching up to Butler as we kind of cut through the chicane. I'm surprised I didn't get a warning or a penalty. We're gonna dive down the inside on the right-hander. We go a bit wide onto the grass a tiny bit, but that's enough for Butler to re-overtake us down the inside of the other right-hander. And we're gonna have to just be a little bit more patient and try to overtake him down to 2 DRS straights. But again, we go wide and somehow don't break our front wing. But again, we have DRS, save a bit of ERS for the next DRS straight. Just trying to stay on the back of him and get a great first corner. Try to get a good exit, but he gets a much better exit than us. Use all of our ERS, no rich mix this time, and we're starting to run out of ERS, starting to feel the consequence of using it throughout all the previous laps just to be able to catch up to him. But we are in the back of him. Go a bit wide onto the big large curb, and again we're just destroying these curves. Is not a good tip for this game if anyone has already played it. But he does pull away a bit from us, but again we're on the back of him, but we just dip on the grass a bit too much wheel spin, and I just realized at this point with a broken front ring we might as well just restart this whole thing. So again we're on the back of Butler, trying to stay on him, catching up a bit to him but not too much. We're gonna go on to the final lap of the Grand Prix after these few corners, just trying to stick with him. We are going to get DRS down this straight and with a little bit of ERS left, and just not trying to use too much, but we do use a lot of it on this corner just to stay on the back of him. And we just need a good first corner to be able to stick to him, as we do get a bit of a good first corner, but again we go wide so he gets a much better exit and we won't be able to overtake him on this one. And it's a little bit again we go wide on the on that corner, just not, maybe the tires are going off, just not doing too well. But again we break our front wing, and this is another moment I realized I have no more flashbacks, and I was already way too far ahead to restart anything. So at this point I had to concede and know that Devon Butler is going to beat us, and that's not a good feeling. But again, just gotta get our head down, and maybe something will happen. Maybe with the AI, maybe we'll make a mistake. Just don't know what happened, but it's not looking good for us at the moment, as Lewis Hamilton sets the fast lap at the Grand Prix and wins the first race of the season. Then Max steals that 1 point for the fastest lap, as again we just cut the corners and move on to the final corner, and we're gonna finish behind Butler. Not a good feeling, not getting any points for our team, and it's not good at all. I mean, Australia is not my favorite track, but this is a very poor performance from us / Aiden in our first race of the season.
A great race then, and a fantastic victory here at Albert Park. What a start to the season this has been. A fascinating race here in Australia, Ant.
The top teams as ever continue to push the boundaries of the sport, and it'll be interesting to see how the new Racing Point driver Aidan Jackson settles in, especially after that early incident involving his teammate.
Well, we've certainly seen rivalries born from less. Suffice to say, if you came into the 2020 season hoping for a bit of drama, it looks like you won't be disappointed.
So after a magnificent race, we can now see the drivers making their way to the podium. Once again, it's the Silver Arrows who take top spot, a well-earned victory for Mercedes.
As we move on to the post-race of the Australian Grand Prix in the 2020 F1 season, an awkward incident involving Devin Butler and his own teammate Casper Ackerman marred Jackson's maiden outing in F1.
Casper, listen, I don't know what happened out there. It wasn't my fault.
Well, whose fault was it then? Who was the idiot behind the wheel of your car? You're pathetic. You won't even admit when you made a mistake. How did they ever sign you?
Oh, Butler. Devin, I didn't see you there.
Oh, what, like, out on the track today? You nearly took me out, mate.
Look, I don't know what happened. You cut in, I swerved. Next thing I knew, Casper was out.
Whoa. Mate, I was nothing to do with it. Whatever that was all on you. Don't be trying to pass the blame, because you haven't settled in yet.
Sorry, Aiden. Just bear with us one sec.
No problem.
That's really just a case of rookie driver, rookie mistake. These cars are a bit different from what Aiden's used to in F2.
You seem to find your feet quite quickly after you graduated from Formula 2. What advice would you give to Jackson in his first season?
Well, stay out of my way mostly. And taking out your own teammate isn't something I would make a habit of.
Almost ready, Aiden. We're just checking audio levels.
Sure.
Seriously, Casper must be wondering what on earth Racing Point were thinking.
That's great. Thanks, Devin.
Yeah.
Okay, Aiden. Let's talk about that incident with your teammate.
I never played F1 2019, but I can really see why people hate Devin Butler now. Bit of an annoying character, but good to have around for the story mode, and good for content in this case. As we have a call from Brian, let's hear what he has to say.
Brian?
Talk to me. You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Listen, what happened out there today? I had it all under control and then...
Look, let's not go through all that now. We'll talk about it at the debrief.
Right, yeah.
I was actually talking about your little running with Casper and Butler over in the paddock.
Oh, wow. News travels fast.
The paddock talks, Aiden. Besides, I've got ears like a hawk. Listen, Butler's a clown. The man's ego is bigger than a... No, I've got nothing. Don't give it a second thought.
Thanks, Brian.
But Casper? Yes, he can get a little hot-headed, especially after a race. But you have got to work with him. That maneuver today.
Wasn't my fault, Brian.
It probably cost us points. I'll level with you. A lot of people on the team are disappointed, Aiden. And I'll be saying as much to Casper. Now, learn from it and move on. But you can't let it happen again. I'll see you at the debrief.
Brian is definitely right. We're gonna have to learn from the crash and move on. Even if we don't think it's our fault, or Aiden doesn't think it's his fault, we just have to learn from it and move on. As we have an email from our personal assistant saying we have another interview ready and we have to get ready over in our hotel room. But yeah, it's gonna be it for the first part of the Breaking Point story mode. There's gonna be 8 parts, doing 2 chapters in each part. But so far the story mode is pretty exciting. It's gonna be a good one, and I'm glad you guys are here for the journey. If you guys did like the video, please leave a like down below. If you want to see future content that I'll be making on other sim racing games, please subscribe and turn on notifications while you're at it. It does help a lot and I really appreciate it. See you guys in the next one. Peace out.